Quiet, please. Down in front. The picture's gonna start.
The first 41 Popeyes are known as one-reelers because they fit on a standard film reel. With number 42, the Fleischers experimented with the first of 3 two-reelers, 17 to 20 minutes long.
I wish I was a wealthy prince.
This groundbreaking move helped pave the way for full-length animated features.
I think there was a certain amount of risk in going with longer cartoons. It was a bit of an unproven idea at that point because cartoons had pretty much been 7 minutes the entire time. So by pulling in well-known stories, whether it was Ali Baba and his 40 Thieves or Aladdin or Sinbad the Sailor, the Fleischers were trying, I think, to add marketing value to the cartoons. So even if the Popeye name wasn't going to be enough to get them booked, a theater owner would recognize Ali Baba or Sinbad.
Yes, Aladdin, the princess has chosen you to procure for her the magic lamp.
The character was so popular, those could be a box office draw on their own. Like you could do a 20-minute show and actually have people pay to buy tickets to see it.
Paramount, which distributed Popeye and which had a little gold mine in that Popeye series, thought that there was something to be said for a special. Something that would not be part of the regular black and white monthly series, but something that would be out of the ordinary that they could promote and turn into an event.
There's only room for one great sailor in this world. That's me.
Oh, says you.
Max Fleischer wanted to do a feature. He'd heard that Disney was his great rival, was planning to do a feature. So Max did manage to wheedle enough money out of Paramount in order to do a two-reel film featuring Popeye.
Hey, your penknife then. I'll straighten it out for you.
As it turned out, they were extremely successful. The Fleischers ended up making 3 of them. And again, Fleischer moved into longer format cartoons before Disney came out with his first feature.
Gosh, but the story of mine should be great. I really don't know how the people can wait.
I think the two-reelers required more attention to story. And I think because they're longer, they really did have to have a more cohesive story structure. You know, most of the short cartoons are gags with a beginning, premise, and an ending, you know, and all the gags in the middle. This one kind of had to go somewhere. Uh-oh, olive oil has been captured, what do we do? So on and so forth. They required a little bit more story structure than the shorts did.
End of the line, everybody up.
They sort of have a different format. It's almost like there are these 3 films which are from a whole other series. And it's that Popeye isn't in his usual world. He is not even transported back in time. We just find him back in time in an Arabian Nights world or a fairy tale world. But his regular characters are there, actually dressed up as other people. There's a sense that the studio head has said, you know, Popeye, we're getting a bit tired of this I cover the waterfront, rumble at the docks stuff. So next time out, yeah, you're in an Arabian Nights movie.
I don't like this place at all. Sorry I ever came in here.
When they went ahead and made the Popeye color two-reelers, there were a few challenges because, first of all, they had never worked in color before. The only previous thing that they had done was a 2-strip Technicolor cartoon for Betty Boop called Poor Cinderella. This time was full-blown Technicolor, and I think it required a much more elaborate background painting style, for example, than they would have had in some of their cartoons. I think it required much more experimentation to see what colors worked well.
In Ali Baba, the cave sequence, there's lovely lighting and colorful jewels in there. The desert sequences in the beginning of that cartoon are also very striking.
The color in those films is really interesting. It doesn't look at all like Disney or Warner's color. It's a different process. It has a softer, rich, interesting look, which makes them kind of unique.
The songs in all of them, you know, are actually pretty decent, proper songs. The songs really had to progress the stories somewhat. So, you know, Sinbad's opening song in the Sinbad film, he introduces himself in rhyme with all of his prowess. And same thing with Ali Baba, you know, his song defining who he is, and so on and so forth.
Clean out those serpents with one dirty look.
I don't know how they came upon the idea of putting Popeye into the arena of Alibaba and Sinbad and Aladdin, but it worked.
The films turned out to be a huge success, often billed above the feature, with which it came out. They were held over for weeks at theaters, and this is at a time when most theaters were changing their bill twice a week.
I think they really proved Popeye's star power, his drawing power in theaters, and I wish that the Fleischers had been able to continue along that path with the higher budgets and the longer stories, because I don't think there's any question that Popeye was able to sustain those.